The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
NEK crew.
Yeah, one off.
One of.
Yeah.
In the house. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Good. Now, we've actually known each other, man,
Many.
I reckon 90. I actually remember 98.
Would have been that,
when I
mate.
came to Adelaide.
Yeah.
And man, the thing that I actually remember the clearest was we used to skate.
Yeah.
Remember?
I remember giving you all those skate videos, mate.
And you weren't into the whole, like, I guess the graffiti thing at that point.
No, nah.
But I do remember that summer holiday, however long that is. We've come back year 10, senior school.
Yeah.
And
Painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, first of all there,
Oh.
so you got into painting around that, late 90.
Yeah. 90. Well, I'd consider painting regularly 99, but 98-ish, somewhere around then. Just, caught up with dudes I used to work with, just partying, drinking. And, so, always, end of the night, everyone's drunk, cruising around. We'd be in that party van, going from spot to spot. And, those dudes would hop out bombing, like, just tagging everything, run off chops, drinking, whatnot. So it just looked like fun. So, they'd been painting a little while. That was Mystic and Pester, who ended up in NEK crew, but used to write Warrior then. Yeah, and Chemic, that's right, Chemic would be with us. And, just always seeing them jumping out and tagging everything. I was like, just looks like fun. So, like, then eventually it was like, give us the can. Thought up a word, like, and, just started from there and then kept on rolling, And
So is that summer break that you started hanging out with those dudes?
Yeah, because I was working at bloody McDonald's with Mystics and Chemic. And
I remember that.
Yeah. And so always seeing them bombing, and it just looks like I said, just fun. And it was a distraction, just being a shit as well. It was just good to
be a
fuck
bit of a
shit
vandal.
up, like what I mean. Like we'd always be, causing all types of chaos, and then just add a bit of painting. It's just all fun. So
So then you actually went on. You're one of the founding guys of NEK crew.
Yeah. It was like me, Solar, and Pester. Like that's when I was actually, doing pieces, painting with Mystics and Urban a bit at the start there. That's who I started painting with. They did their own thing, caught up with Solar and some of those good dudes from up Blackwood Way on the Belair line. And just me, Pester, and Solar were just painting weekly, always out in the barn. And just thought, painting together a lot. Kind of name of the crew kind of come up in a funny way of them just giving me shit. But we were just painting regularly together, and just decided to start a crew.
So then, what's NEK actually stand for?
The original was Nocturnal Emission Crew, and that was purely come about one night because Solar and Pester would always they had misses at the time, so they always giving me shit because I didn't have a missus and not getting any roots. So they'd always be going on about, how good it is to paint with an empty sack and all this type of thing. And my only emission for the night's my nocturnal emission. So they're, revving you up like that, going out painting. Oh, he's got a full sack. Oh, it's his only outlet, his only emission. And well, actually, nocturnal emission, that's pretty funny. Like NEK, So that's what it started off with, was purely that. So we just put it up NEK. Then, nocturnal emission's pretty long, you know what I mean? So then, you think up all different things like New Era Killers, Never Ending Chaos and stuff like that, Not Enough Cops, all types. But, I've always mainly put up Never Ending Chaos. But the main original one was, Nocturnal Emission Crew, purely because I wasn't getting roots.
So what year roundabouts would you say that?
Oh, that would have been 2001, I reckon. That would have been about 2001, early 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when NEK started. We were painting regularly together. Like, it's not like you just catch up with dudes a few times. Like, I guess some dudes do it that way, or not know the dudes they're in crews with, but just become good mates. The more you paint with each other, good mates, catching up when you're not painting. And it was just, probably, caught up with them, probably 2000. Could have been painting almost a year together. Bit less, maybe 9 months, and we started the crew.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
And then, over time, did more people...
Yeah, for sure. Straight away, because Solar and all those Blackwood dudes, they're all kind of already painting and stuff. It was all like Crude, Sign, Shoe, Prime, Plateau, all younger Blackwood guys, and younger at the time. And, so you know, like, who was it? Like, Crude and Sign got thrown in straight away. Plato and Prime had their own little thing going. Ultraviolet crew, you know, like UVK, because they loved a bit of biffo and a painting. So, but yeah, it was us, Pester, me, Solar, Sign, Crude. And then, I reckon Prime and Plato got thrown in it after a while, because we were all just partying together. They're all like the Blackwood guys. Pester was from out the Oban way. I was down west. So, and all the rest from, on the Belair line. And, so, you know, Blackwood guys got put in and all the Belair guys got put in pretty quick. And then, you know, a few people along the way, like Rappel, he got put in later on. He was always bombing heaps. He was already in a crew FBS. He was down south just bombing everything. So he was a good addition to the crew. And it was only just in the last few years we had a few other dudes from like Decline and Dro. They got thrown in it. So along the way, but the main dudes were me, Solar, and Pester. And, along the way, we were probably painting the most, but at that time, out of everyone.
And then, like, when I hear Blackwood, I sort of tend to think that it's a bit of a mecca for, not mecca, but like it's a bit of a spot for graffiti, like where riders.
Yeah, for sure. It's always full hip hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Blackwood High and even their cafeteria would go up there painting. You know, it was like a legal wall there, you know, you just go there on a Sunday, hang out, have a sesh, paint Blackwood High cafeteria, you know what I mean? So, it's always good. Always Belair line dudes, like all NA and all that. Heaps of good riders come from there, you know?
So then, you know, you guys have, you know, I guess officially started the crew.
Yep.
You know, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I guess is it just a mindset of let's get out there and get up as much as possible and kill as much shit as we can?
Yeah, it was just, you know, you're just wanting to paint, you know what I mean? It gets really addictive, you know what I mean? Like, you go out, do your piece, have your fun mission. Next day, you're getting day flicks if you can as well, you know? So it's like the next day, you're hanging out, you know, back then, getting even the fun of getting your photos developed, you know what I mean? Because you'd got your film. So you'd be taking your night shots, your day shots, you know, like, you know, so you're not seeing your photos straight away like your digis and stuff. So like you have to wait till your roll fills up, you know, like, you know, ganking your film and, you know, even the disposable cameras and stuff like that if no one's got a camera. And it's the fun of, you know, getting your shit developed, and then you're hanging out, having sessions, you know, you got your flicks, you're looking over your flicks from the last, what was it, like 30 photos on a film or something like that, 20 something.
It's crazy, I guess, there's a generation of people now that paint that just wouldn't know about developing.
Yeah. I still consider myself like a new generation of painting, but I guess it's, I don't know, well, you know, 19 odd years now, I guess it's not that new, but yeah, that was mad fun. Even like the little thing, like you'd have to find your right spot where to get your photos developed, you know what I mean? So like, you know, you'd put them in, especially if there's like trains, like, you know, especially if it's like TAs and that, panels and stuff, you know, you're hoping, you want to find the right spot so when they're developing, they're seeing what they're developing, and when it's all graph, and back then, you know, it definitely isn't what it's like now where it's more acceptable and, you know, like, I guess you know, no one's putting in their film, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, you know, you'd have to go there and suss it out, make sure like you put your film in, it's ready in an hour, like your hour developing, and then, you know, just hope there's not cops waiting there to jack you.
When you go to grab
them.
them.
Yeah. So you'd have your cool little spots where it was pretty safe. You knew you were going to be all right, like certain joints.
So that was a thing. Like, did you have, you know, I hear situations where people like would get their photos developed, and then the developer would actually snitch on them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, especially if like, you know, I know people who've gone bloody, you know, one time gone to Kmart to get it developed. You know what I mean? Walking back through the aisles, and cops are there speaking to the people, and you know, you're not going to go try and get your photos of all your pieces, like, you know, trains, walls, all night shots, day shots, you know what I mean? You're not going to risk, you know, like, that film's kind of lost, you know what I mean? You lost those photos unless someone else got shots on theirs as well, so.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And you don't know whether you're getting a good shot back then as well, you know what I mean? It's not like you could take a flick, you look at your digital, oh, that's a sweet shot, or let's get all different angles, like, you know, I know it's broke as, so, you know, if gang can film, if you only got, might go out and you only got like 4 shots left on your film or something like that, and then you're cruising around with it, you know, old flicks on your camera as well, so that was always a bit shit. Not like you can just put a fresh memory stick in. You got you could be walking around with like 3 pieces on a film that you done previously, and you're out painting again, so
So then, I guess the writers tend to, you know, because I imagine you got your photo albums lying around your crib. it's probably not.
No, it's not the best idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can only, just speaking for myself and dudes I've always known, like, oh, they've got a, good stash spot, or the smart thing's just not to have it at your joint. So if worst case scenario comes, like if you do get done, they come back to your joint, you know what I mean? You don't want them getting a whole photo album and trying to ping you for everything in your photo album, just the night if they can't find anything. Even sketches, you know what I mean? You don't want too many, back then that's how we worked. Zero evidence laying around the place, like just in case.
Because even if they find sketches, then...
Well, yeah, if they link you to your tag and stuff like this, they can go, all right, if we can link this tag to other pieces, it's like your fingerprint, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So, it's not always easy, but that's definitely how dudes got done.
And then, so do people, because I've heard of people like changing, their tags or what they put up over time.
Yeah.
But then I find it interesting because obviously part of the whole graffiti culture is to get that name up. So then when you
dudes
switch...
have always had different words. So like, I haven't had too many. I've really stuck by what I've always wrote, like mainly the same word for a long time. A few bits, changes here and there, but always revert back to it. But yeah, lots of good writers have changed their words, you know what I mean? Even just to switch up your style, gives you a few different letters to, morph your style into something else, you know what I mean? Like switching it up. But, if you're in the know, you know what I mean? Like, a dude has to change your style pretty dramatically for you to be like, oh, it's a new dude.
For the whole graffiti
Yeah. Like, if someone changed their word, like, Yeah, you know their style, you know what I mean? Like, unless it's a total switch up. So.
And then, talking about, I guess, the whole photos thing back in the day, and obviously that's different now, and people are snapping shit on an iPhone and then posting it on Facebook or whatever. I guess with that, what's your take on, people putting their stuff online, talking about trying to, stay off the radar?
Yeah. It's a bit weird, you know what I mean? Like, because... Yeah, when we were like doing stuff that you're going to get in trouble for, like like TAs doing like that, we wouldn't really let anyone know about it. Even like close mates that didn't paint, you wouldn't let on to them too much either. You really kept it to yourself. Might chuck some flicks into a magazine. Even that was looked at by some people like, oh, what are you doing? But I can be a bit hypocritical about like the whole internet and stuff like that. Because on one hand, I do like it. You know what I mean? I do like the fact that you can hop on and see people around the world just instantly. It is cool, you know what I mean? Like, post your shit, people see it. It is good, you know what I mean? But as far as, if you're really hammering stuff, I do think it's dodgy when dudes are Facebook living panels. Like, go for it. Like, good on you.
Well, dudes do that.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, I personally wouldn't do it, but like,
I didn't
go
know.
for it. Yeah, there's some dudes that do that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And, go for it. But, I like seeing it, you know what I mean? But,
you wouldn't necessarily
it's the good and the bad.
yourself.
Well, it's the internet. It's good and bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Paint when you first started,
Yeah.
That early 2000s. I mean, first of all, was the paint different? And because, I've spoken to older writers and like a lot of them just never paid for paint.
Yeah.
They just roll through with jackets or whatever. And, but I think now you can't really do that as much.
Definitely not as much. Even when I was like, you're still racking a lot, but even like older dudes again, like, the era of like, Tents, Tarns, all those dudes, they were racking way more than what I would have been, and designer paint, that was around when I first started. You still had Montana, Belton, stuff like that. I definitely started off with the Dulux and Dymarks and still racking as, hardware paint, where you can and stuff. Pick up a good can here and there, but certainly not what it's like today. But it was definitely, when I started, you could still, it was hard to get, it was expensive and stuff like that. So I reckon the first time we ever used good paint was when we racked dudes for it, you know what I mean? Like, ran down at a spot pretending to be cops, like seeing dudes painting with their lighters and stuff. And, I remember we running down, like, I reckon there was a tank up in Aberfoyle, actually. So there was a few of us, and we seen dudes painting with their lighters on, and I don't know if it was torches, maybe it was just lighters, but, just being dicks, like, so we're like, all right, let's fucking run down there, pretend to be cops, like, oh, Jimmy, you go from the other side and stuff like this, and, hoping they'd leave their bags behind, you know what I mean? And, most of them did, so, and they had all mad stuff, like, $12 cans and shit, So I think one dude actually was cheeky enough and had good enough legs to run back at us, grab his bag and run off again. Well, he kind of deserved keeping his paint. But the rest scattered and left their bags. I think it was about 3 backpacks full. I know who it was. I'm not going to mention names. But yeah, I think we went off to the O-Barn after that and did some nice pieces with some, good paint. That was the first time we used them. Now I was like, oh, this is nice, So, when I always like to mix. Always to this day, I still like, if I can get cheap Dymark, I like mixing back up on top of, especially Montanas and stuff like that. I love them for mixing, putting your Deutsch on top of that. And, but yeah, like I've always, not straight away, but always like to have a nice can for outline, you know what I mean? I started in that spoiled era of, you could still get some good paint, you know what I mean? I'd never knock back a nice mixed Dulux right pressure go and use it for outline, no worries, even exports on top of stuff.
Yeah.
No worries, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was definitely coming at the stage where you could pick up good cans. And within a few years of painting, I definitely like, using good paint, you know what I mean? Like a rack what you could. But then, I was kind of always like, we always were all about nice big full colour burners and that. So, you get some nice sweet shades and different shades that might be a bit harder to mix. We'd always, me, Solar and Pest would always end up at Cab's old shop down the end of Hindley Street picking up some fresh colours before the weekend and stuff like that. So I was have a good chat with him and, pick up some nice colours and, we're doing a lot of the barn back then. So, nice 3-man linkers. Sometimes, we did some nice big 5, 6-man full colour linkers on there and stuff like that. Just spend ages, having a chilling out and just, doing big burners. That's what we definitely were. We really liked doing was like, let's go big, full colour, tech. We always like that. I love a good public style, but, we've always, most of NEK crew have always like big, full colour tech ones. Even now, I'd go big. So, you rock up to the wall and it's like,
bang.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And then so, like, you talk about still using Dymark. Yeah. I mean, to my understanding, most dudes don't use Dymark anymore.
You get.
But it's not like what it used to be now because of the cans.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, you can go to the store and just buy it.
So why
and
do you still use it?
Well, for quite a while there, where I work, we sold them for cheap, so I could pick them up for a couple of bucks a can. So you know what I mean. I'd buy a whole bunch of good loot. Once it gets down to a quarter can, I just chong them all up, and you can fit 2 cans worth of paint in a can. You know what I mean? Like what you buy, you can fit way more in it. So you can have a brick on you. You got 1 can that has like 2 cans worth of paint in it, and it'll be thick as well. So you still get dudes like Tense. He mixes up heaps. He's a gun, like a legend. You know what I mean? He still uses all types of weird hardware paint he finds. It's awesome. I love that. You know what I mean? You don't need, good paint. The designer paint's good. Don't pressure all the colours you can fucking pick. But, nothing wrong with a big bricked mix. So, you know what I mean? A lot of paint, thick, so that's good.
Yeah, I guess, when you talk about the story, of running down on some people for paint, I mean, do you have, like, a particular memorable story about, getting a whole lot of paint? Because from, like, DVDs and docos that I've seen, there's been some cool, clips. I think it was Cope too I've seen.
Oh, just racking shit.
Do you have any memorable?
There's, there's little, you kind of giving away little scams and that, you know what I mean? But, just like loading up baskets at Bunnings and, putting them behind pots by the garden fence, you know what I mean? Like, I remember even up in Jisoe one time with a reputable dude and that. Go there, you load up your baskets, go to the garden section, stash your baskets of paint behind some pots, like it's just your cyclone fence. I remember this time we just, went and got they even had eggs on the go, so it was like a breakfast barbecue at Bunnings, so we sat in the car park, ate our, Bunnings barbie, and then, snip a hole from the outside and just grab your baskets of paint and just walk off, you know what I mean?
And then, so how many cans of paint do you reckon you would have copped on a...
That's only small compared to some. Like, what's that? Like, I don't know, like 30 or something like that. Maybe, 2 Bunnings baskets full, you know what I mean? But then there's times where dudes can do good heists, you know what I mean? I've known of certain hardware stores getting done over and they get a lot, you know what I mean? 2 trips on some occasions going back, So
30 cans in 2 baskets is a small...
I'd consider, compared to, if we're talking... riders as a whole, I'd say that's pretty small. You know what I mean? There's been people that, they were probably racking shit like that almost daily back in the day, you know what I mean? Like, I know, you know, dudes that I looked up to would do, like, runs out to the country, you know, different hardware stores that, you know, not used to people coming in, so you're not, you know, not getting racked all the time, so, you know, their guard's low and people can clean them out, you know, so, yeah, I'd consider 30, you know, compared to other people. Yeah. I understand people get those good heists sometimes where, you know, walls get caved in and, you know where like the cages are, and they just clean out the shop. You know what I mean? Like,
and like that sort of shit wouldn't be as
because you go to it's because it's happened. You know, they don't like, you know, you go to Bunnings now and everything's in cages. You know, remember, you know, you go to Big W and it's just on the shelf. Like, you know what I mean? It's easy, but now you have to get through cages, and you know, people still do it, no doubt. Like, you know, but I work now, just buy fancy paint, fucking cheap Kmart, mix it up. Yeah. You know, it makes life easy.
Now, I, recall probably at least a couple of times, you know, pulling up at the railway crossing.
Yeah.
And seeing the Fradies come through.
Yeah.
And seeing, you know, NEK crew on the Fradies.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us a little bit about Fradies, because obviously Fradies are different to passengers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely, like, you know, TAs and your metros, your passengers, they're the bee's knees. That's, you know, that's the pinnacle, really. Everyone wants to do them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the real deal. Well, freights are good, though. They run. You know what I mean? Like, there's cool freights where, you know, like the old Rockies that used to go from down Osborne Way all through to Barossa up to Penrice and that, you know, and run along the whole Gawler line. You know what I mean? So they used to be like, I think the most would be like 27 Rocky, these little carts at a time. And, you know, you got full colour burners running on Gawler line all through to Barossa, through all the like wineries. Then, you know, this would actually cruise over Port Adelaide Bridge and the main drag of Port Adelaide. So, like, getting cool footage of your, you know, pieces going across that, you know, past all the freezers at Port Adelaide and stuff. That was always cool, you know what I mean? Like, through traffic past the Birkenhead Tavern and stuff, you know, like, so you get your pieces. They were running, you know what I mean? Where, especially when, you know, around the time TAs were getting done, like, they didn't really run much, you know what I mean? If shit got done at Blair, would run in the city, get buffed. Did Adelaide Yard, they'd get buffed in the yard. You could do your back jumps and run-ups and stuff, and they'd run, but they'd rarely run them back out again. So, you know, you're doing it, you know, around that stage, you're doing your TAs for your photos, you know, mad fun photos. But your freights you get to see run, you know what I mean? There's still, like, you know, freights running for, you know, 13 odd years, or, you know, you get a couple from, like, you know, 2003 still going, you know, like, you know, like, you know, almost every year you have one, you know, you could potentially, some might have some running, like, you know, almost every year since 2003. You could almost, like, you know, there's one from 2003. Oh, there's an 04 one still running. There's, you know, you get the Secchies, the security cap them, unfortunately, like, probably about a year or two into, like, doing freights, you know, security started trashing them, like Consolidated Security. You know, they'd bomb Consec on your pieces, trash them. The main reason, I believe, was, like, you know, they'd take a photo of your piece, trash them so they know what they had photos of, you know, to build their little file, you know what I mean? Then you had old Andy, one of the train drivers out there writing idiot art and stuff like that, and, you know, call Crime Stoppers, did your child do this on your pieces? Like, you know, he was just a shit stirring train driver, but, you know, you had him as well doing his little thing with his either paint or with a marker, right? His main thing was idiot art he'd write on your pieces. But even then, man, like, your piece might be trashed a little bit, you still can, you know, oh, that dude's got a nice full colour on there, it's cruising around, and, like, years, you know what I mean? Like, that's one time when good paint can come into it, because they're trashing your stuff with shit paint. You've got good paint, theirs is probably going to fade quicker. So at least, you know, it would be a little trash, but still got nice pieces running, you know? Yeah, it's cool seeing a 40, you know, wagon freight go past and you've got a dozen full colours cruising on it. It's fun to see, you know?
Yeah. And then I guess, you know, with, you know, accessing the freighties, I'm going to imagine or assume that they're not in the same yards as passenger trains.
Oh, no, they're way chiller.
The security.
They still have their odd bus, and so, yeah, there's still bus dudes at the freights, but don't compare. There's no comparable, you know, how hard it is to do a freight compared to doing a, you know, a metro and stuff like that. It's, you know, like, freights are a good time, you know what I mean? If you're not dumb and you know what you're doing, you know, you can cruise in, you know,
and actually be relatively
hang
relaxed,
out, like, chill, like, you know, get shit done, like, you know, there was no cameras on the freights, you know, like, so, you know, when you're doing TAs, like, some yards, you got, you know, 2 layers of fence, your Rio, your electric fence, then you got your raised wire at the top, then you got sensors and cameras, and you're having to get through all that to do one, you know. Whereas freights, you know, we didn't even have to jump a fence out of Greenfields, and they just walk in, you know what I mean? You got the Secchi check when he did his checks, you know, if you knew what the deal was, you know, like, and when we first started going there, it's like, you know, you could switch the lights on and off, you know what I mean? I know, like, Tents was notorious for doing that to try and mess with people, you know what I mean? Like, and I'd say that was always cool. That's what I liked about freights as well. Like, when I first started 738, like, and JBL, but always what sticks in my mind, 738, they were smashing it, like Tents, like, just whole cars, full colours, him purple, all of them, Boyle, purple, all of them Hush, all of them, man, they were smashing it, you know what I mean? And it would always be, like, being young, it'd be like, you know, make sure you don't bump into Tents and purple and Dry Creek, they're going to fucking gank you for your paint and stuff. So it was always like, that was cool as well, man. Like, you know, as much as, you know, it sucks, you know, lucky it never happened to us. But, you know, like, that little bit of fear of you don't want to bump into other dudes as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to bump into older riders. Like, JBL, like, you know, out at where all the Rockies were in that particular spot. You know, they had that locked down. When I went there, man, just seeing their full colours, just their pieces, like Dismal, Draw, all of them, all JBL, man. Like, and it was like, you don't want to bump into them out there, you know, like, even Probs and Arson, they went in JBL, but Probs, like, mate, you know, met later on, he smashed it, you know, no longer with us, you know, rest in peace, Probs. But he was, you know, definitely an idol of mine, man, and he smashed the Rockies, you know, he had that many full colours, holies going, it was great. Yeah.
So then I guess, other than 73A, you know, and JBL, who were some of the, like, you know, prominent crews that you guys sort of looked up to?
Well, the guys, well, yeah, for me, you know what I mean? Like, I could probably speak for the crew, but, you know, there'd be a few changes here and there, but mainly me, definitely, like, yeah, it was like JBL, 73A, RCF, and NA were the main ones that really stuck out in my mind, like, you know what I mean? It's definitely, you know, 73A, JBL, and RCF, and NA, they're the ones that so well established. They're already considered, like, they're old school to me back then, you know what I mean? And they're all dudes, you'd look at their pieces, like, you know, it's a bit different now as well. Like, you know, we'd rock out, if you know where they've done some nice pieces, we'd go there, hang out and look at their pieces, you know what I mean? Have a sesh, drink, and, you know, and just talk about their pieces and sit there and chill, like, where, you know, dudes will rock up to a wall and just, it's illegal, we'll just go over it or something like that, you know, like, but, you know, we used to sit there and just, you know, in awe sometimes of some of the burners that do, you know. But yeah, definitely, for me personally, yeah, Tents, Tarns, Draw, Summon and Occur. I reckon they're the ones that really influenced me the most with just technical stuff. And Illy, you know, they did their Illy graph, like, you know what I mean? Like, you want dudes, you know, I like it all. You know, I think, you know, some people are pure train guys, you know, dudes just paint walls, and, you know, I really like a dude that's done it all, you know what I mean? Like the metros, freights, walls, illy and legal, you know, the all-rounder. I reckon that's cool. You know, bombing, you know what I mean? Like 738, like, obviously 738, like, no long, like, smashed it. Legends, you know, like.
And then, you know, I guess, you know, when NEK, you know, hit the freighties for the first time, and I assume that obviously, you know, most dudes, if not all dudes, are hitting freighties before they get to hit passengers, just because. I
guess,
for the most part.
Yeah, I'd say.
How did you guys sort of figure out how to do it?
Okay.
Like, were you shown by?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was who would have been the first? I reckon it was old Open Yard. You know what I mean? I think I first went out there with even Mystics real early, like I would have in that little summer break you were talking about. I reckon. I you know, rocked Freighty pretty quick. You know what I mean? Because they're already kind of getting into it themselves, so they've already been doing shit for a few years. So it was easy for me. You know, I kind of cruised along, but I'd say like the main one that really showed me what the deal was just a Blackwood dude, Shoe. You know, big shove, like, you know, out at the Rockies, like, showing, you know, being sneaky, like, you know, if a Secchi or a worker comes, don't just do the piss bolt like a rabbit, you know, like running in front of lights, like, you know, play a bit of cat and mouse, just avoid them, watch where they go. So when they leave, it's all good. Where a lot of dudes just like to there's some lights, let's just run, you know what I mean? But it's all the little things that, he definitely showed me, how to be chill. Like, don't freak out in there, just paint, relax, just keep an eye on things, be aware, you know what I mean? You just got, be aware when security's going to come, if there's workers about, where they come from, you know what I mean? But he was definitely the first, because they're already doing it for a few years before me. So I was pretty lucky that I got to meet dudes that were already doing stuff, and then the generation above them, like all the Blackwood dudes and stuff like Kerr and Summon and stuff like that, they're a bit older than them again. So then, they're already doing their thing. Like, they're already smashing fucking everything, like, and all your Trans Adelaide stuff, So, they're already doing it. So I could see it happening, you know what I mean? But, yeah, we started doing the freights and, just kind of waited for my time, all right, let's try and do other things, a bit more full-on stuff. And, I was pretty lucky. There was dudes that were already pretty established. So, once they showed me the ropes, then, you knew the ins and outs a bit more, So I guess I got a foot in that way. I was pretty lucky like that. But then, you put in your part as well. When things need to be set up, how things have to be, you can go set it up this time, like this. You got to do certain things, Sometimes there's preparation to be able to get into places. So, you pay your dues that way,
And then with the, I guess just specifically with the Fradies.
Yeah.
Was that's for the most part been pretty chill? There's never really been...
Oh, you get your hairy moments, and there's always the near misses, like, you know what I mean? There can be times where you could go out painting, it's all sweet, wander in, wander out, photos, laughs, good times, good pieces, and then dudes go in there half an hour later and get done by a sting, like an actual setup, you know what I mean? Like, that's been known to happen, you know what I mean? And then times where just, shit's got a bit hairy and, security or cops roll in, but if you're aware of your surroundings, know what's going on, generally speaking, you should be able to spot them before they spot you, unless it's a full sting, I guess. Like, then it's, probably, they're right next to you. I guess who's the fastest runner sometimes, I guess. But I've never been the fastest runner, so I relied on knowing my surroundings. So, yeah.
And then, so that's, that's the Fradies, side of things. And then, as you mentioned before, then you've got your passenger trains.
Yeah, people love doing them. Yeah.
And that's obviously a whole different ball game in regards to...
Oh, it's definitely... Yeah. If
getting in and getting out.
If you're someone that likes to do that, yeah, and you're smart about it, there's dudes that can smash it and they're just doing... You're like, how are they getting away with this? Like, shit. Like, they're being dodgy, you know what I mean? They can get away with it, you know what I mean? A lot of times, eventually, it catches up with them, but... you just got to be prepared. Like, you have to remember, it ain't a major crime, but it is a crime. So, like, you got to be smart about things. Like, dudes can get, especially dudes that have been in trouble for other stuff before, if they've got prints on the system, you don't want to be leaving a can in a yard that's had to be chopped into through security. You don't want to be leaving a can with your fingerprints on it in there. You know what I mean? So you got to be smart, and obviously, if there's sensors and cameras, like if you're setting them off, well, someone's going to be on their way quick smart, the security or police. So, you got...
Because they're sirens and stuff. They're not actually... Like, you can't hear them.
Oh, no. You just set
yeah.
sensor off, which, I don't know, most probably sets the cameras off, starts recording. But, it definitely alerts them and they're on their way. You know what I mean? There's times where you can do things where you go for it. You're like, well, how long, if someone's setting off a sensor, well, how long will it take them to get here from the nearest cop shop? So dudes might want to smash things out quick, and be like, well, it'll probably take them 10 minutes to get here. Let's, dudes will try and do stuff in under 10 minutes, kind of be done before they rock up. You know what I mean? Or there's times where you can set it, dudes can set things up a particular way with their little, tricks of the trade, and it'll get you more time in there because you're not setting any sensors off, you know what I mean? But definitely times where, as you're walking off, that, police could be rocking up and it's that close, so, that happens a lot when it's just that cat and mouse game, you know what I mean? It's what makes it fun as well, you know what I mean? Like, it's about doing your piece and doing our piece, but, it's an adventure as well. It's a good time and it's experience, like...
On the topic of, hitting yards,
yep.
Can you sort of walk us through on what it'd be like, to go through the mission?
Yeah, if you're doing it, it's all about, I guess when dudes are wanting to do it, you got to put in your homework, you know what I mean? Like, preferably you don't want dudes to have done it, recently themselves, because it can make spots hot, you know what I mean? It's hard to tell whether guys have done it or not, but, sometimes you can get inside information from people, and, or it gets around. But, you got to check it out, you'd want to check it out during the daytime, and, just make sure nothing looks suspicious, you know what I mean? Like, it looks all cool, if there's certain things you need to set up, whether to be able to get in, whether things have to be set up during the day, there's preparation work for sure, you know what I mean? You want to be way more prepared. Like, Friday you can, what do I got? Sweet, you know what I mean? You can go in with your scraps and stuff, but, it's harder to do. So you want to be, personally, if I was to be doing this stuff, you'd want to be more prepared, you know what I mean? Have everything set, ready to go, dudes would probably, like I said, you wouldn't want fingerprints on your cans and stuff like this. So you got to do, you wouldn't want, just in case shit gets lost and grabbed, so the basic thing is you're going to be on camera, you know what I mean? You're most probably going to be on camera. It's what they hate the most getting done, you know what I mean? Like, if you're prolific with doing this sort of thing, that's who the transits are going to target above everyone else. Whoever's smashing the trains the most, Trans Adelaide stuff, they're going to be the hottest at the time. That's who, they hate that. So, yeah, it's a lot of homework, a lot of preparation, making sure everything's good. What you can during the day. Like, if you go there and there's sus-looking trannies, like transits, look like could be cops. Like, well, they could be setting something up. They could be doing little stings for the next few nights, trying to, setting things up, And then on the night, it's just all careful. Like, it's a lot of common, a lot of dudes don't have common sense, but, it's a lot of common sense stuff as well. Like, you don't going to want to park your car right next to the spot and, just wander in, you know what I mean? Like, preferably you'd probably want to park further away and, your license plate's like an ID. So, even silly things like you don't want to be people just, you hopping out of a car and they're thinking you're doing break and enters and they call the cops, you know what I mean? If the trains are in the yard, that means the trains have stopped running. So it's going to be late at night. So, someone pulls up out the front of your house and you hear them banging and clanging and backpacks, or what is it, tools or paint, like, what are they breaking into things? So common sense stuff, and just being prepared. And always, you probably be prepared for, go out there, have your good time, but you want to be prepared for the worst as well. If shit goes down, where are you going to go? Like, what's your escape routes? Like, which way are you going to go? What's, where are they going to come from? Like, and then just getting in and getting it done, you know what I mean? Like, you can't go into it too much without giving away your tricks of the trade, but it's all, you're trying to get in there undetected and leave undetected and leave sweet as. It doesn't always end like that. You can have gnarly chases and still get away, which is, a good chase and you get away is always good fun as well, you know what I mean? If you get away, this is a good story, adrenaline's pumping, like, and, it's good fun, like it's about doing your piece, but, it is fun doing that shit, running amok, like, like, and then it's not just about the arts,
Yeah, there's the
good
other
bit of
side
vandalism
too as well.
Doesn't, a dose of vandalism doesn't go astray.
And then, so I guess with all the technology and the security stuff, I mean, is there any way that dudes are getting into yards without having to cut through fence?
Oh, different spots, you know what I mean? Like, if you're saying worldwide, there's all types of ways.
I'm talking more Australia.
Australia, there's spots, but in Adelaide, you know what I mean? Like, thinking back then, dudes are probably... there's no other rule. Thinking back then, how things were getting done, you can't through it. So, like, there's your electric fences that have to be cut through, and, touch them during the day like a dumbass, seeing whether they're actually on or not. They're on, like, so, you got to cut your way in. You got to cut, generally speaking.
So then I think, like, I've been told that with some of the fencing, like, as soon as you cut it, it'll trigger off a silent alarm.
Oh, back then, no, not in. Yeah, there was the electric fences, so you weren't sure whether they were. If you cut them, what happens then? Like, you know what I mean? I don't think anyone was real sure whether if you cut the electric fence, it's set and, you know, that it is possible, that technology is there, but whether they're going to whether shitty-ass Trans Adelaide's going to put that much money into that type of technology, then I doubt it, you know what I mean? Possibly, yeah. You know.
And then, like, if you, like, cutting through electric fence, I mean,
Oh, it's not that bad. It's like a farm electric fence, isn't it?
So it's not some, like...
Oh, but when you know, if someone's doing it and they're using bolties, like, you know, you got rubber handles, like, it's not that bad. You can just snip it, you know. And then more the noise sometimes. Like I've heard, I don't know, but you know, I've heard that, you know, if you snipping those electric fences, they can be pretty loud once that tight wire fucking lets go. You know, so that's the noise as well. You don't keep noise down. People hear, you know, like you know where all catch trains. You know where yards are. Houses are not that far away. So if you're making a racket, you know, I don't want to be pulling out a grinder. You know, although, you know, it's been done. You know what I mean? But makes it harder when you're making that much noise, I guess.
And then with hitting the yards, any sort of like, you know, like real memorable stories like amongst the graffiti community that, you know, are kind of like, you know, the whole community knows about these certain
It's
stories.
more pieces, I'd say. Like, you know, you hear the odd story. You mainly hear the bad stories, really. Like, you know, if you don't know dudes, you know they've done a nice piece. Like, you know, if you get the opportunity to see it back then, like I said, it might be then just the next, you know, dirty deeds or something like that around the time, you know, shit was really happening for us. Like, you know, you get to see dudes' pieces. But realistically, personally, you mainly hear about the bad, you know, how much bullshit's chucked on top of it and how exaggerated it is one thing, but you mainly hear about the bad stories, the chases, the busts, this dude got fucked up, or, you know, he's been done. But, you know, yeah, generally speaking, I don't really, you know, like, it's more about if you see a mad piece done, like, you know, it's done. You're more talking about shit, they got this done. You know, if you don't know someone, you don't really go into detail about how you did it, what happened, like, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, in the time that, you know, dudes I know and we're all doing shit, you know, you didn't talk too much, you know what I mean? Like, if you know shit gets done, but there's no reason for a crew that you don't paint with's going to know. Like, you're not going to, you don't want them to know. It's a bit different now, like you said, with social media and that. You're going to see it instantly who's doing what. But, you know, you don't want them to know. You know what I mean? Like, if you're getting shit done, you know, I don't want other dudes to know because they might be going, oh, they're getting that done. Or is this spot doable, is it? You know what I mean? Then they're going to have a crack at it. Whether they're successful or not, they might fuck it up.
And they can make it hot.
Yeah, they can fuck it up. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, the key was really not to let anyone know, you know what I mean? Then the dudes older than me that, you know, showed me a few bits and pieces. They was even more secretive again, you know what I mean? They nothing, you know what I mean? Even I highly doubt anyone's phone was tapped, but you wouldn't even talk about it over. You know, just don't, if you're wanting to catch up to do something, don't talk about it over the phone. Certainly not text. Certainly not instant message or Instagram messages. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to be, no thanks. Like, you know what I mean? It's a meeting person, and like I said, it's common sense, but there's like wild dudes out there that just don't really give a shit either. You know what I mean? Like, you know, personally, us dudes always had nice shit. You know, most of us work. You know what I mean? You had shit to lose. Some dudes are like, just awesome. You know, I admire a lot of these dudes, man. Say just wild dudes don't have fuck all to lose, so they just go for it and smash things. You know what I mean? That's great. Love it. But, you know, I was always like, you know, I got a bit to lose. Let's get it done. But, you know, you almost be paranoid about it. You know what I mean? Better to be more paranoid and it's a sweet mission than, you know, thinking you're a man and reckless and all of a sudden you're done. Like, yeah, no thanks. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't want cops knocking. You know, no heat's the best thing. You know what I mean?
And I mean, I guess in relation to that, I mean, what are some of the penalties that you've heard people getting slapped with for, you know?
Well, back in the day, you know, dudes got locked up and stuff, you know what I mean? And, you know, like, yeah, you can get locked up if you know, certain old school riders have been locked up, you know, dudes I know, you know, locked up for it, you know. Some of the first dudes to get locked up for graff in Adelaide. You know, mainly fines, you know, like suspended sentences. It depends on how much you've done, how much evidence they've got on you, you know what I mean? It's like anything, you know what I mean? Like, shit, if dudes are robbing people and stuff, like, you know, how much can they ping on you? Like, your penalties keep going up. But, yeah, you can certainly get locked up, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, wow.
If you keep getting done, you'd want to, you know, some dudes, you know, get done multiple times and, I don't know, they must have a good lawyer and Or some might be snitches. Who fucking knows, you know? Like, get away with it. Right.
And then, I guess, pretty much still on the same topic, because I imagine it happens in yards, but I don't really know. The whole thing with run-ups.
Yep.
So I guess for people that don't really know what run-ups are.
Run-ups and back jumps and that. End of the line stuff, or, train terms, crossing loops. Like where trains have to pull over and so another one can pass, or end of stations. You get shit, there was 3-minute ones and stuff like that, where or you can do team-ups in 3 minutes. So you 2-3 of you smash out one crew piece maybe in 3 minutes. Like Adelaide's certainly other states have a lot more time in these things. Adelaide, shit, there was 3-minute ones. Shit, if you got 10 minutes was just crazy, you know what I mean? Like for a back jump or run up and that. But that's what it is, the end of the line stuff, crossing loops where they have to, stop so another train can pass. They pull up there and fucking go for it.
And then, so therefore, a lot of the times, if not all of the times during run-ups, that's just full of passengers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. They get a good whiff of it, get an experience themselves. Well, now they'll film you and put it on fucking Today Tonight or something, But yeah, of course, it's full of passengers, Sometimes the driver gets a bit cheeky and, we've had rocks, some drivers, loved it, threw rocks, like throw rocks at people, you just throw them back. Yeah.
And then, so would you say that because, the time difference, only having 3, 5, 10 minutes, the passengers still being in the trains and that, would you say that run-ups are riskier or more difficult?
Definitely. Because you're not cutting in, generally speaking, you're not cutting in. You run up to a train, so you think, realistically, like I said, think about it. If you right now ran up to a train and you were gone in 5 minutes, or if someone reported you instantly, how quick can
they get there
in that time, or a yard, or I want to spend 40 minutes here. If they know, if somehow you get spotted as soon as you get in there and you're planning on 40 minutes, well, shit, anywhere in Adelaide they can get, you could be all the way out of Gawler and they're going to get there, you know what I mean? So, definitely yards a lot riskier. But then run-up spots and back jump spots get flogged too, you know what I mean? So they get hot. So cops know where they are too. They know what the deal is. They've got timetables. They know what the deal is. So if a spot's getting smashed all the time, it all gets reported. So if it's getting smashed, they're like, well, this, it's not like every train will pull up there at certain times. So then they'll just chill and wait and try and bust you. And then it's, once again, who's the fastest runner, I guess. Or if they sneak up on you good enough, they'll just nab you. So,
yeah, wow.
Yeah. But, for a run-up, you have to, realistically, it has to be a setup, really, for you to get done. Whereas, yards, you plan on spending time. Not always, but you can jump in a yard and just try and knock out a quick 10-minute, you know what I mean? But if you want 20, 30, 40 or more, you know what I mean? You're spending time, that's where you have to be more smart. That's where people have their tricks to be able to spend the time in there,
In graffiti, I imagine, like a lot of things, there's some unwritten rules.
Yeah.
I think, Fo and I, and everybody knows about the originality, the whole biting thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't want to buy it.
I mean, what are there any other,
Well, what I got told, what I like to stick to is obviously don't buy it. That's in anything, in music, any form of art. You don't want to be fucking plagiarizing
people's
biting, especially now the internet's a lot easier. Back then you'd be, this dude's getting all the magazines and fucking ripping styles and stuff. But a lot of things pure thing, respect. If a dude's a killer and an old school dude and does good pieces, leave your shit alone, legal or not. If someone said this, anyone can paint here. When I first started painting, it was like, okay, say like Pinder Street legal wall, that was a big wall. There's all JBL, NA, all types of dudes are painting it. If I went down there as a nice dismal piece, mugger piece or something on Pinder, I wouldn't dare go over. One, if they catch you, they're probably going to kick the shit out of you. Two, it's a burner. I can't do any better. Why would I go over it? You know what I mean? And then, so don't go over what you can't burn. You know what I mean? Or if you feel like you're on par, colour over chrome, chrome pieces over throw-ups, you know what I mean? If someone's throw-ups there, if I'm doing a big full colour piece, well, don't get too upset if you're going to go over it. A chrome piece, depends on who it is, you know what I mean? But then you can contradict yourself as well. You might just not like the dude. And you you might not even be better than him, but you just think, because you just don't like him and you're going to go over him. That's where the beef starts. But, have respect for dudes that did shit before you. Don't even go over a little bit of their background. Like, just fucking keep away. Enjoy their pieces. Like I said, we used to see Mad Walls. Like, we'd go there to look at the pieces. Even if could paint the spot. Well, they've got it. Don't go over it. You know what I mean? Look at their shit. Enjoy it. They're better than you. They've been around longer than you. Have some respect. You know what I mean? Where, I'm not a this generation does this, that type of thing. There's good and bad in all generations, realistically, but it seems a lot less now with some that, happy to go over dudes that have been doing it longer. And it's like, well, it's illegal. We're allowed to. It's just like, well, fuck no, I'm better than you. Don't, it's causing shit. Like, don't. But then there's probably less beatdowns now as well. Like I said, even back to this Pin Street League, I remember when I just went down there to have a look. Like I said, probably going down to have a chuff, get photos. So I'd be taking photos of other people's shit, you know what I mean? Go around taking photos for the day. And I remember it was like a mugger. He was doing this real nice custom piece down there. I think this old dude Kuda was down there. Dismal was down there just hanging out. And I knew who they were, never met them before, knew of them. And even just going down there to take photos, I was like, oh, do I go down there? Like, are they going to gank me for shit? It was all that. Like, you'd be wary of other dudes that have reps, but, because dudes would fuck you up, you know what I mean? Steal your shit, But now, I don't think there's as many fucking beatdowns to have the fear to don't go over that song because they'll kick the shit out of you.
And then, I guess, what's your take on, lining or dudes lining and capping dudes and not putting themselves up next to it?
Preferably, when I've gone to do it for whatever reason, I want them to know if I've got beef with you, I want you to know it hasn't happened a lot, but when I've had to go, no, fuck this dude, I want them to know it's me. Why would I want to do an anonymous capping? Like, then it could have been anyone, you know what I mean? If I'm capping your stuff because you've done something to piss me off or there's beef, well, I want you to know it's me, instead of just I'll do a throw up on you, at least chuck your Guernsey up, chuck your tag up. I want them to know, but then there's, a bit of fucking tomfoolery and fucking around, I know dudes that will get out a fucking weed sprayer full of ink and trash shit because this dude's not from their line. Some cunts might have got illegal on some, on a nice line like the 73A line that's owned by those dudes, and they don't get a spot on it, but dudes are fucking legal. Dudes that haven't done shit have got nice pieces on their line. Yeah, fuck them. Trash it, but, each their own.
And do you think is there any, do you think there's any other sort of unwritten rules that you know of or?
Yeah, it's just mainly that, don't go over what you can't burn. Respect the old school dudes, you know what I mean? It's people pride in their work, you know what I mean? Just be aware of that, you know what I mean? It's always been, colour over chrome over throw-ups, you know what I mean? I wouldn't personally do a throw up over someone's tag, but, just if you're better, and some dudes, even if you're better, there's some fucking gnarly dudes that really can't paint that well. They can fight. So, you got to be wary of that as well. So then I'll burn them, so I should be allowed. Yeah, but they probably still want to beat you up for it. So, maybe you want to learn how to fight too. So just take accountability for what you're doing, you know what I mean? But the main thing is respect older dudes that have done it. If dudes, I haven't fucking done a train since fucking when? Yeah, but they smashed it. They still do mad shit. Like anything. DJing, MCing. Respect the old school dudes, man. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like anything. Fucking surfing. Anything. Respect the history, man. For dudes know your history, for fuck's sake.
Now, an interesting doco that I saw a few years ago, and I think, every rider's seen it. Not that I'm a rider, but I think a lot of dudes that aren't riders but are into hip-hop have seen it, is the Jisoe documentary. Yeah. Now, I think I don't know when it came out, but I just remember when I first saw it might have been like 5 years ago. And I just remember just being like, wow, like from the first... that first scene where it's just him, doing that run up. I think, and then just jumping the fence and, that's how the movie starts. I just remember by the end, I haven't seen it in a while, but by the end of it, I was like, wow, what a fucking documentary.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't
It's an up and down, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah, well, I just couldn't believe how blatant, the footage was. Like, there's no...
I'm not too sure how much you can get away with doing that. You know what I mean? Whether you get away with doing that and getting scot-free. I don't know what his deal was. I don't know him, you know what I mean? So I can't comment, but it's pretty full on. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be shocked if he got away with it scot-free. Well, I don't know, maybe he was in trouble already and he was ready into shit for it. So, if you're already charged for doing shit, well, why not release it? You know what I mean? I don't know if that was the deal. I don't know. I don't know him. Like, I remember seeing it and it was like, fuck, that's raw. Like, how the hell is he getting away with this? Like, whether he did or not, I don't know. I don't know the backstory to it. But yeah, like, if you're not in trouble and you've never been in trouble with the cops, I wouldn't suggest doing that. Like, I was full on, you know what I mean? That was an interesting one, that's for sure.
So what was your take when you first saw it, and what do you think are some of the good and the maybe not so good aspects of that?
Well, just purely that, like, you know what I mean? Like, in my eyes, you're going to get done doing that. Like, you bring a lot of heat down on yourself. But, it's cool in some parts. Like, like I said, I don't know whether, he was able to release it and it's all cool, but you know what I mean? Like, it was a good doco, you know what I mean? He's fucking smash it. You know what I mean? Like, I personally wouldn't, release something like that where it's full face painting everything, but it might have been reasons why he could have done that, or he just went for it, so, but it was a cool doco,
And then with the exceptions of, I guess, like the classic, Star Wars.
Yeah.
What are some, other real good graffiti, either docos or movies? I mean, Cope 2.
Oh, dude, Cope 2 got me there. That man,
I actually think that you're the dude that put me on to Cope 2.
Yeah. That Cope 2, I remember after seeing that, we thought we were fucking... Because that's when I would have just started kind of writing, Showgrounds were when it wasn't getting painted, and it was just... I remember thinking with Cope 2 just to throw up until fucking shitloads of cops rocked up and ended up getting fucking jacked. Because we just started. I didn't know shit. The dudes I was painting with, even though they were painting a bit, they were clueless. So, like, these are like the very, very first dudes that introduced me to it. And, yeah, man, that was hilarious seeing that, thinking, I can just do throw up after throw up at a fucking on the line without anything happening like Cope. But it didn't work out too well. So,
And then, so any other ones that you've seen that,
were really
like
even like...
Dirty Hands, I think, is it?
Yeah, and the KOC, their DVDs, the Sydney dudes, they were sick. Like, Route 666, there's heaps, you know what I mean? Yeah, and Bad to the Bone, the Adelaide one, that's cool.
That's right, there's part 1 and 2 of that.
Yeah. I just personally think I really like part 1. That was sick. Occur, Summon, Juice, Safe. Man, that little era there of those, I'm sure there's a lot that people haven't seen as well. They were killing it. Nice tech ones, like Occur, fucking these mad tech Occur pieces, like big full color. Like I said, I like a big full color. If you can chuck, a big full color, even a big public train, sick, like a public train stuff, awesome. But for me, definitely technical stuff is, and they were rocking it. They were doing mad stuff then, for sure. I could be biased, but I personally think that was the best era of train graffiti was those dudes, especially those 4, like Juice, Summon, Occur, and Safe. They were the shit, I reckon. Me personally, I think they were the top dogs. I don't think anyone really top them. There's dudes that might have done just as much, but I don't rate their pieces compared to them. Like, they were really rocking it.
I remember back in the day, man, seeing, I think it was a Juice whole car on Keswick Yards.
Oh, yeah, the Who Dares wins.
Yeah, and I heard a story about that. They ran out of paint. It was him and someone else that did it. And then they ran out of paint. And had to go.
Yeah, that's the story, man. Like, that's the urban legend. Yeah, apparently that, I can't say, but, apparently that's what the deal was. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So, legends. Those dudes, man, like, in my eyes, they're fucking trained killers. You know what I mean? There's all the older generation again that were doing, all 73A dudes, JBL, they're all doing shit as well. But personally, like, I don't know, there's something about them. That late 90s, early 2000s little era there, that was the shit. They were killing it. It was great.
And then, like, I remember, I remember recently, or relatively recently, it was like in the last year or two, where I think like the Trans Adelaide staff or whatnot, the train drivers, they went on a strike.
Yeah.
And there was a thing where like riders were just hitting shit because the train drivers, as part of their strike, just weren't doing shit about it.
I'm not too sure, but it was something like they weren't reporting it. I think that was part of the strike. They're not going to report graft. Yes, dudes are flogging it, man. Like, fucking good on them. Good on them. You know what I mean? I think that's great. Like, yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? I'm sure the trannies, like the transits, were fucking getting around, knowing it's happening and trying to bust dudes. But yeah, Adelaide copped a flogging. Like, definitely more gets done now more than ever, and that's it for sure. Definitely more gets done ever. More runners, more pieces run. The quality of pieces. Although, like, there's young crews like OHC, young dudes, like a Pose and dudes like that. They do, there's been they've done some impressive stuff for sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it could be biased because, you kind of get to know some dudes as well, and just that style, like, you know what I mean? The shit you grew up on. It's like saying, you love 90s hip hop, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's what you started is the original shit. Yeah. It's just got something to it that, hits the heart. You're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
So then I guess on the topic of younger riders, I mean, who are some of the, the younger crews, I guess, or riders that you sort of think are, good up and comers or?
Yeah, OHC definitely kill it. Yeah, they're probably my favourite younger dudes. Like a Pose, Aimer, those dudes. They smash it. They're cool dudes, fucking mad pieces, get shit done. Anyone else, off the top of the head, I don't know. They're the ones that stand out to me. Oh, there's heaps, man. Like, fucking jump on Instagram, you'll see it all. But yeah, like, they're the ones that stand out to me because they get shit done. Personally, they're the ones, I'd say.
Now, we spoke a little bit about, dudes posting their flicks on the internet, nowadays. And graph mags, exist now, and they've existed for, however long.
Yeah.
I remember, man, back in the day, like, talking to people, and some dudes would love graph mags, some dudes would hate on graph mags. So I guess what's your take personally on, graffiti magazines?
I liked them. Why not? I know some dudes into it just because of pure, they think it was sus, like, sending it in or like whatever. Like they, dudes want to keep it more, the older you go back, the more secretive they want to keep it. It's like, it seems like the more it goes on, the more relaxed it's getting, especially with social media. But yeah, fucking why not? Why not? Fuck it. Like, shit, you're posting in some photos. Like, cool, if someone asks for some photos, why not, man? Like, it's cool to see your stuff printed up in a magazine. Like, you're not going to make your own magazine. Like, you got your photo albums, which are awesome. But yeah, why not, man? I like it. Like I said, I'm a fan of, I like seeing the shit on the internet. It's you get me in it depends on what day you get me. One day you might, fucking, it's bullshit. But really, it is cool. Like, you get to see a lot. But how much are dudes going out and seeing these pieces in person? There's something about seeing that piece in the flesh. You know what I mean? Like seeing it on the wall, on whatever spot, or a train. It's mad to see a flick of a piece on a train, but it's even better to see that piece cruising past you. The sounds, the smells. There's hits more senses, you know what I mean, when you're there, like I said, hanging out, just looking at big burners. It's definitely better, way better, yeah. So is that lost? Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, is that, do dudes go out hunting graph? You got your photographer guys that do it. They're out there now. But how many dudes are going out just cruising around for the day looking at pieces? I don't know. I can't speak for younger dudes how much they do that, but we used to do it a lot.
Do you think that helps, people become better riders, actually physically going out there and?
Oh, I don't know if it makes you better. Because, as far as skill wise, like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's just that sensory thing, of being there, seeing it, fucking walking right up to it, like, looking at different lines, looking at different techniques. It's just, I guess you can zoom in on your phone and that, but it's not the same. It's not the same, what I mean?
And did NEK crew ever, make it in any magazines?
There's been magazines, like, Dirty D's, various Adelaide magazines pop up, you know what I mean? Like Bad to the Bone and, DVDs and stuff like that, yeah. the dudes in the crew have definitely had their, got their little spots in magazines and on DVDs and that for sure. Yeah, if you've seen NEK crew stuff, you'd know, you would have seen it in magazines.
And then like, another yin and yang is the whole legal and illegal graffiti. And I know that some people are, strictly illies.
Yep.
Some people are like, if it's not on a panel, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And that whole thing. I mean, what's your take on, legals and illegals and all that?
I like the all-round. I like someone that does it all. I fucking admire just the train killers as well. You know what I mean? Like, like dudes that just only smash trains. Like, fuck, that's the pinnacle. You know what I mean? It's where it started. It's awesome. You know what I mean? I think it's more the dudes that have only ever done legals and expect to get the same respect. I'm not down, like, have you ever had to, do a piece in the dark? Have you ever had to run? Have you ever, like, it's more, for me, it's more if you, I respect less the dudes that do legals and never done anything else compared to what if this dude's smash shit and now does only street art illegals. Like, I might not necessarily like what he's doing now, but you got to respect the dude what he's done. You know what I mean? Like, even dude, like, like dudes like, like a Jam, say, like, he's an Adelaide killer. He's done it all. Now he's full on art, more arty stuff. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Super skillful dude, but you got to respect him. He's Jam. He fucking smash shit. See that everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's the dudes that expect the same respect and all they've done is legals, or they fucking glue posters on walls and stuff and think it's the same. It's not. It's just not. Like, you can argue. They'll have their points to argue the point, but my opinion is just not. I like graffiti. Not graffiti art. Like, just graffiti. Like, like I want to see, more vandalism. Like, fuck shit up. Like more raw graffiti. You know what I mean? And like I said, trains are the pinnacle. That's the best. So. But, yeah, the all-rounder, man. Like, I've got just train killers that are like, oh, fuck, walls. I said, yeah, why not? If you're able to smash that many trains, you're willing to do it, fuck, yeah, awesome. You know what I mean? But someone that does all the trains, metros, freights, and then they'll go do mad pieces on the line, on walls, and then they might pump out a mad production on a legal. Fuck yeah, that's what I like. Then they might get drunk and go out fucking doing tags and fucking throw-ups everywhere. That's what I like, the all-rounder. Yeah.
The lesson. Oh, yeah.